There was a timeout. You said, I'm not going to say the full thing, but you said, get me the ball when he came out of the timeout. Where does that confidence come from?
So I think I'm from Baltimore, that's why.
Hailing from Baltimore, Derik Queen is the most skilled big man in his draft class. A 6'10 talent with a bag deeper than most guards and the confidence to match. Queen spent his lone college season at Maryland under the tutelage of Kevin Willard. At first glance, his physical profile doesn't really scream future star. He's not the most cut 250 pounds, with a 7'1" wingspan and a 9'1" standing reach. Now that's great size for a 4, and slightly smaller for a full-time center. He lacks the traditional length and explosiveness often associated with modern big men. But when the ball is in his hands, that picture changes dramatically. Few prospects his size blend fluid footwork and ball handling coordination with core big men fundamentals like offensive rebounding, early seals in transition, and powerful post scoring. This combination can brew into a potent offensive weapon if honed correctly at the NBA level. For Queen, the central question is just how high his offensive ceiling can reach, and whether it'll be enough to offset his defensive limitations as a big man. I first noticed Queen as a prospect at the Geico High School Nationals against Sunrise Christian. I had my eyes on Matas Buzelis, but Queen caught my eye as a low-post big with impressive footwork. Throughout his high school career, he was primarily used as a traditional low-post scorer, a role he thrived in, but one that felt limiting given his broader skill set. During his early AAU days, Queen played more as a 4, scoring off spot-ups and getting more ball handling opportunities. Comfortable pulling up off the dribble, even from 3, he flashed the outlines of a much more versatile offensive game. This version of Queen was more perimeter oriented, hinting at a player who could become a true offensive hub with time. There's a clear duality here, a player who could dominate in the paint, but also has the balance, long strides, and agility to attack off the catch. The challenge is figuring out how to best leverage both skill sets at the next level. Given that Queen is primarily an offensive-minded big, his ability to score efficiently at the next level is critical. This naturally brings his shooting into focus. Queen's shot is a bit unconventional, with a far right ball placement and minimal lower body engagement, leading to inconsistent energy transfer. He seems more comfortable shooting off the dribble than in catch and shoot scenarios, which is unusual for a big man. However, his free throw numbers were solid, consistently hovering in the mid to high 70s, a positive sign for his touch. When the shot falls, his skill set really comes together, creating some really impressive self-creation sequences. But if the shot doesn't develop as hoped, how much will it impact his long-term offensive upside? Right away at Maryland, the difference in how Queen was being utilized on offense was evident. Playing as a nominal 4 next to a more traditional college big in Julian Reese, Queen's role resembled that of his early AAU career. His number one play type per synergy was pick and roll big, often rolling short and using his handle to navigate tight spaces from there. If the defense switched, his low post acumen came into play, destroying mismatches and drawing help for his teammates to play off of. Queen was also a terrific transition player, able to grab and go, creating lanes for his teammates or finishing it himself. He particularly looked great rolling off empty side pick and rolls. When given time and space to drive, it becomes very difficult to stop Queen, whether in transition, attacking off the catch, or rolling to the rim. Queen consistently gets quality shots at the basket for himself, a critical skill for a below-the-rim finisher like him. 3 key skills drive Queen's success in getting to the rim: his handle, footwork, and balance. His handle is particularly unique for a big. allowing him to navigate traffic and create space. Armed with endless counters, he rarely ever has to pick up his dribble, always remaining a threat. Once he's headed toward the rim, his footwork takes over, letting him step through or discard defenders with high-level gathers. His balance ties it all together, keeping him on his feet through contact and awkward angles. Queen also has potential as an offensive rebounder. He has a quick, low second jump, allowing him to tip back his own misses and outmaneuver defenders for loose balls. However, his 9% offensive rebounding percentage at Maryland was a bit disappointing, especially compared to peers like Asa Newell, who posted a 14% offensive rebound percentage. That's a number I would be more optimistic on how potent that skill will be in the NBA. Still, Queen has the foundational skills to provide impact here, especially if he plays more as a 4 at the next level. Queen's passing is one of the more stronger aspects of his game. I believe he has really high potential in this area. He consistently looks for cutters and big-to-big connections, flashing creativity and unselfishness. His passes are often ambitious. Queen has a belief he's capable of pulling off every pass in the book. That's one of the reasons why I think he can be a great passer at the next level. That said, the risk tolerance in his decision making sometimes works against him. He tries to force windows that aren't there, leading to live ball turnovers. The read themselves aren't always wrong, but the execution of the pass, placement, and velocity can often let him down. With refinement and more structured reps, Queen's combination of passing vision and willingness could become a real differentiator. Given the fact that he was pick and popping and often at the top of the key for Maryland, I was interested to see Derik's progress as a shooter since high school. It was a mixed bag. The actual percentage and volume were quite low and won't inspire a ton of confidence on the surface. The release and energy transfer issues discussed earlier were still evident, especially off the catch when he had more time to think. The argument for believing in Derik's shooting potential is that he's a player with good touch held back by poor shooting mechanics, and a few tweaks could unlock that potential. His touch on runners, mid-range jumpers, and from the free throw line instills a bit more confidence. He shot 10 of 24 on runners for a solid 41% and 35% on 55 two-point jumpers. Although that two-point jumper percentage isn't amazing, when combined with a 77% from the free throw line, you could build a case for Queen's shooting touch being good. At the end of the day though, it's not the best shooting profile, and the possibility of him never being a great shooter has to be considered. In that scenario, I still believe Queen can be a valuable and plus offensive player. In the event the defense is sagging off of him from the perimeter, his ability to stampede cut off the catch against sagging defenders can punish that. Queen thrives when given the runway to drive and use his handle and footwork to get an angle at the rim. The space given to him by sagging defenders would just provide him that runway. A pull-up mid-range or face-up jumper would arguably be more impactful for his offensive ceiling than a catch-and-shoot three. Queen's appeal as a prospect is his potential as a star-level big man creator, which primarily would come with the ball in his hands. Being able to space off ball would raise his offensive floor though, and enable him to play the 4 next to more traditional big men at a higher frequency. Though I believe he can still reach near star-level impact without a great 3-point shot, it would raise his floor as a prospect and make him easier to build around. Defensively, Queen has more potential than his reputation suggests, particularly when moving his feet out on the perimeter. Queen shows flashes of solid foot mobility and active hands, which can disrupt players out on the perimeter expecting an easy target. There are many instances of him deflecting passes or stripping a driving player, which fuels his transition game. However, he does have a tendency to get blown by as he's working with fine margins given his athletic tools, and his discipline on closeouts can be inconsistent, often biting on fakes and flying by. As a lone center, the concerns are more pronounced. Without elite vertical pop or high-level anticipation, Queen can struggle to anchor a defense, especially against more athletic or physically imposing bigs. This makes it harder to project him as a neutral or positive defensively at the 5. But as a 4, his ability to move his feet and disrupt ball handlers gives him a chance to be a neutral or maybe even very slightly negative defender with the right scheme and support behind him. Before diving into Queen's impact through the 3-phase framework described in my VJ Edgecombe video, it's worth defining these phases. Phase 1, Initiation. This phase is when the defense is in its shell and the offense is trying to break that shell and the defense was trying to prevent it. Phase 2, Rotation. The defensive shell has been broken and the defense starts rotating. Any skills that help the defense in rotation or punish the defense in rotation would fall here. Phase 3, End phase. Finishing plays, getting to the free throw line or converting second chance points. Anything that terminates the possession would fall under this phase. Evaluating Queen through this lens, he stands out as a potentially impactful offensive player in the early phases of a possession. In phase 1, he has several valuable skills. His handle, footwork, and powerful post game allow him to be a legitimate one-on-one scorer, drawing help defenders and creating advantages for his teammates. He can also act as a dribble handoff hub, creating advantages in that manner as well. However, on the flip side, defensively in phase 1, he might be more of a liability, potentially being targeted in isolation or pick and roll coverages. In phase 2, Queen's offensive rebounding and ability to attack off the catch come into play. His quick second jump and knack for finding gaps in the defense make him a dangerous second chance scorer. Armed with the ability to play make on the move, Queen could be a destructive force attacking closeouts. Defensively, this is where his active hands and footwork discussed earlier can shine, disrupting passing lanes and forcing turnovers. Finally, in phase 3, Queen's below the rim finishing and ability to get to the free throw line become critical. His footwork and touch allow him to convert tough finishes through contact, though his lack of vertical pop and average shot blocking instincts limit his defensive impact around the rim. After evaluating his film for the past few weeks, I've come to see Derik Queen as a potential high-impact offensive creator hiding in plain sight. Yes, the defensive concerns and inconsistent shooting are valid knocks, the kind that can limit his lineup versatility and require a front court partner who can both space the floor and protect the rim. This inherently drives his value down, as those are premium skills in the modern game. However, Queen's rare ability to handle the ball, create his own shot, and punish mismatches at his size is a unique, foundational trait that's hard to ignore. While his floor might be lower than someone like VJ Edgecombe, his ceiling as a high-usage offensive centerpiece is tantalizing. In the right context, I'd seriously consider taking him as early as the 3rd pick, though I wouldn't be surprised if he slips down into the late lottery, making his floor much lower than VJ Edgecombe draft range-wise. Thanks for watching, and let me know which prospect you'd like to see me break down next.